Well, guys, first I've got to give a shout out to Beyond Drew and Fisherman because I hit a pretty rough patch in Planet Coaster last week. It was one of those deals where I think that's why I covered Planet Zoo so much. It was just another one of those weeks of total demotivation. Did not feel like building anything. Totally didn't even feel like clicking on the water park. Couldn't click on this park. I was just Planet Coaster down and out pretty much all of last week. But Beyond Drew and Fishman were like, man, why don't you just try uninstalling it and reinstalling it? And I'm not telling you that is a fix-all. Like, do not, misconstrue this as like you're going to uninstall your game and reinstall Planet Coaster and all of a sudden you're going to be flying around at like 50 frames per second. But what I'm saying is I went ahead and just tried it. Like, I was just like, there's nothing really else to do. Let me just give it a shot. So I did. Totally uninstalled everything and reinstalled it. And now the Safari Park, particularly here since we're, running around in this, it is playable. All of a sudden, I can build in it, and I have built in it. So this is the new little entrance area. Remember, I've said forever that I wish that I would have created an actual entrance type area, even if it hinged on the Islands of Adventure type vibe. I just wanted it to be a large plaza, a big marketplace, shops, drinks, where you can get all of the little knickknacks and all that stuff that you typically have in theme parks, where, as obviously we know, this is like a mixture of theme park, zoo, just big entertainment complex. And so that is essentially what I did. My boredom of Planet Coaster, for, like I said, last week, and the fact that I couldn't go into any of my parks without completely chugging at like 8 frames per second, I started on this little facade you see right here. And it was one of those things where I felt like building but didn't feel like starting a whole park. And then it just kind of, once we finally got the Safari Park here to open up right and actually be able to, move the camera around fairly decent. Now, I know to some of you guys, this is going to still seem way choppy and you're going to be like, oh my God, you're playing on a potato. But you just probably, if you just would have known what it was like 5 days ago, how bad the park was. I even have I've got it on pause right now. But I've got 280 guests in the park right now. And, it's still, like I said, it's playable again. I can, put down buildings and roof pieces and animal enclosures and delete stuff. And so that's one of the really, really neat parts that I've found since I've uninstalled the game and reinstalled it. I don't know what causes it. I don't have any kind of technical information of why all of a sudden that would have gained frames. But yeah, it was just a good old normal. I didn't add any more RAM. I didn't buy a new video card. It was simply uninstalling it and reinstalling it. And now all of a sudden I can get back in this park. So maybe if one of you guys can elaborate a little more down below, maybe we can, maybe gain a little more insight into kind of what happened and why that fixed this, or why it maybe not fixed it, but made it playable again. But yeah, so anyways, remember, this whole area has changed. This is what this area used to look like. And of course, here is what we look like now. So, yeah, quite a big difference. And it has totally remotivated me to get back in here and just try to revamp this park. I brought in Dead-Eye Ducks, a big, massive lion statue, kind of as you first make your way in. And I thought this would be... I kind of aimed him this way because I thought, if he was... if you got a picture of him this way... basically saying if his head was this way, you would get that other big statue in the background and see there's not really a whole lot going on back there. But I figured if people kind of stood this way in front of him or kind of, if it was more like taking your picture this way, you would get like the main street, like the really, like the, the real big focal points, the cool, really themed out Main Street buildings. And I think it just looks cooler instead of just having him look inward at the entrance. If he's kind of like looking outward, out throughout the park. So I thought that was that was kind of like the essentially like the thought process behind which way to angle him. I probably could have even turned him a little more. But, for right now, I think that'll work. And speaking of that, I did what you guys said. I think, except for this guy, I've removed the hippos out of here. We're going to give them a proper enclosure. And I think what this will be is this is going to be like a flamingo type area, at least over there and in this part. I don't know, maybe we'll put something else in here. Maybe we can get the TMTK modelers. Maybe if I kind of get back into this a little bit, maybe they'll start kind of messing with some animals again, or churning out some animals for us. Basically, after seeing the start of Planet Zoo and the enclosures, and actually, you know what? This is morning light. I actually think typically what I build in and what I think this park. Okay, this is 1:30 p.m. Let's just try earlier in the morning. Yeah, see, I like that early 11:30 in the morning, like, you've been at the park maybe an hour type shots. But look, that whole big weird crocodile temple is gone. I think it looks better. It puts more attention on the animals, and maybe we can do some kind of, maybe an Australian type of little more toned down than that giant temple we had there. And like I said, I think that is the route I'm going to go as far as fixing up this park goes. I want to, I essentially maybe kind of want to mature it, if you will. Just bring it back more to emphasizing the enclosures and making it a little more realistic. And like I said, just watching a lot of the Planet Zoo videos and kind of what they're coming up with, and even looking at more real zoo videos, I've got a little better understanding of how stuff needs to look. I really kind of had these enclosures kind of gimmicky and cartoony. Remember right here, this was a big mountain with limbs and stuff, and this was the cheetah exhibit, which absolutely did not fit with how they would have cheetahs. So I got rid of that little island. We're going to make the cheetahs an actual running plane out here, and we'll have their exhibit up. I'm going to go for a lot more glass. I really like the idea of have Planet Zoo's been showing off the glass a lot more. Nimboa Square, there's a lot of stuff that's going to stay the same, so don't think like I'm just going to come in here and just totally like destroy the park. There's a lot of the theming, a lot of that stuff I really, really like, and I think it come out really, really cool. Just like this, this really gritty kind of South African village over here. Namboa will stay. The coaster will stay. Of course, the train will stay. I kind of like the lion exhibit. They don't have a lot of shade. I might have to kind of retool their vegetation a little bit. But the Lion Island out there, that'll stay. I'm on the fence about the chimpanzees. Still, this is better than what I had. You'll have to let me know if you think this is still a little too gimmicky, or if I should tone down their island a little bit. Just let me know on that. I thought this come out really cool. I have matured the wolf exhibit, where now you've got, remember my little experiment, I've started working on the glass enclosure up here. So if the wolves want to make their way kind of around the backside of the hill into these rocks, they can see you right up to the glass. And now you've got this other elevated pathway here that really takes you like right out into the pack. And so I think that worked out pretty good. The Woody's Aviary here is just absolutely one of the most beautiful Planet Coaster creations I've ever seen. So that is definitely staying. There's a lot of little thematic elements here we do, like when I moved over here into the North American area, the fencing, it started incorporating a lot of wood, And that's just kind of that's just how we kind of want this area to transition. I still have to do the bear exhibit. Remember, we've got grizzly bears from Dead-Eye Duck that we need to implement and get a little enclosure over there. Still kind of thinking about maybe making the rhino exhibit a little bigger. Remember, you can't actually walk over here and see the rhinos. You can only see them from the safari trucks or going by on the train. So I figured the trucks, they would stop here and kind of let you see the little rhino gulch here. Still don't know, though. I might extend their little area out. And really, even a lot of times in real zoos, I think even in Animal Kingdom, you do not see, like the rhinos, they do not have like massive open spaces. They keep them pretty confined. So I think we're doing pretty good over there, kind of giving them the space that they have. But I still may end up kind of extending their enclosure out here, over the plains. And the chairlift, the gondolas, they're here to stay. Really like how they came out, and they actually share a pretty neat interaction point here with your safari truck. So if anybody that's new, this is kind of like the safari depot here, kind of like Kilimanjaro safari style, where you're level with the seats, and the guys they'll get you loaded up, and you go out on a good 20 minute tour. And I've customized our little trucks here to they've got the seat 9 people at a time, so fairly decent sized group. You should be able to get your group all in one sitting, as long as you're under the 9 person limit. And once you make your way across this bridge, this is what we've been calling the cliffside market up here. So really, really neat market, kind of overlooking the plains and kind of overlooking the veterinary care of the savannah area. So this is kind of just a little bit of the backstage area, mobile veterinary unit, just all indoors if they have to bring the animals in and weigh them, or if they have to quarantine them, have problems, veterinary care. All of that. So yeah, this kind of overlooks that. This is your cliffside market right up here on the hills. So we've got all kinds of little shops and restrooms, and one of the signature restaurants in the park. This is one of my custom restaurants, Mwanga's. Really, really nice like African steakhouse here. So you can make your little reservations with our guy. And you guys remember I had a bunch of really cool facades out here, but if you've been around since the earlier episodes, you'll remember that I lost a save. I think either I lost it or I accidentally... Oh no, I know what it was. When you get to the option where sometimes Steam doesn't sync up your saves, and I clicked upload instead of download to this machine, and I lost about 4 or 5 hours worth of work one weekend that I spent kind of just bolstering this whole area and continuing facades out this way. And I'd started on a train station, and all of that was lost just because I selected the wrong option. So that was a dark day in the safari park history. And over here I've got the adventure show. Still got to work on getting the actual benches covered so you're not sitting there roasting in the sun watching the show. And like I said, just a lot of little backstage stuff we still have to figure out. I've still got to figure out the actual entrance, how I want it to look. I need to get a peat generator over here and probably get rid of the first road, so you don't see that, because we've got our big parking lot over here with our trams and our bus parking. So I think I wanted to go with the whole illusion that they kind of come in from the highway over here and make their way into the parking area. And then of course we've got the big reptile house that kind of anchors this whole side of the park over here. Really imposing. Thought that came out really, really cool. Wow Man brought in. He was the one that gave me the idea to maybe put the gondola system in. So I'm still working on the roof for that. And yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. It's a lot of just a little teetering work, a lot of just making different decisions on, like I mentioned before, what exhibits need to be matured. I think the elephant exhibit right here looks really, really swell. I brought in Leaf Scott's Galaxy's Edge walls to kind of give that pit right there, so they, so we don't have any guest elephant interaction, unwanted interaction right here. So that kind of keeps them back from kind of rolling over in on that. And what else do we need to talk about before I let you guys go? Everything is, like I said, I am just really, really back interested in this park, and it mainly all has to do with this main entrance area. I just think it has just come out killer. Right when you come in over here to your, I guess what would be your, let's see if we're coming in from this one, what would be your left. Got the bathrooms right when you come in, and other just little miscellaneous shops. Some of them the guests can't actually go in. Some of them are just for theming and just that mystery, like when you're walking in and, you just see all these mysterious shops and facades and windows, and, you just kind of wonder, like, is like, does an adventurer stay there? Or does he live up in that tower? And, just kind of different stuff like that. I just kind of wanted that awe factor right when you walk in. And then, like I said, once you pass our lion statue, that is when you have to make a decision on which way you are going. So the park offers a lot of stuff to do, and one of the first attractions that most people come to is, of course, Croc Cove over here. And so yeah, I think you guys were right. The big consensus of last time was don't start a brand new park. And a lot of you guys said, man, just continue working on your safari park and sprucing it up and working on it and working on the exhibits and finishing it. Then going ahead and starting like a brand new park, because it's like we said before, we don't know when Planet Zoo Beta is actually going to come out. So I think you guys had a really, really good bit of input, good bit of decision making to not start a new zoo. So we will not abandon our little safari park here. As a matter of fact, I am really, really motivated to get in here and work on it. I'm a little demotivated with the water park right now, even though Daddy Poe has been pumping out some really, really awesome water park pieces for me that I haven't got to check out yet, but I will. And so I don't know. Like I said, I'm kind of focused. I've turned my attention back to the safari park just for right now. So anyways, guys, yeah, let me know what you think about this new entrance area now that you've kind of seen what it was, and if you remember what it was to what we have now. And like I said, this has jump-started me to get back in here and work. And as a matter of fact, right after I wrap up this video, I'm going to edit everything, put everything together, cut the audio, put it together, and probably spend the rest of the evening back in the park, just coming up with different details and ideas, and get more seating, more benches, more tables and umbrellas, all of that stuff. Maybe work on some backstage stuff, some back of house stuff. So, but yeah, I'm S. Dan Wolf. Thank you as always for stopping by and hanging out with me and not losing faith in this series and not losing faith in me. And yeah, don't forget to smash that like button if you end up enjoying this little bit of Planet Coaster entertainment. And I will catch you in the next video. Thank you. See you guys.